if you knew if you knew the behind the scenes in terms of what it takes to put on a national, you'd understand that. But and I'll just give you a few simple things to think about.
Yes,
One,
shoot.
the hotels. You have to. We have a guy on staff that's he's 100% working with the hotels, and I say that because if you're thinking, this year we may have up to 80 to 90, 100,000 people. Now, when you go into a situation like that, you've got to make sure that the hotels understand what you're about. You want to make sure that the hotels don't, gouge you on pricing. That you understand that there's a fixed price in there, so that you do have the people that say, "Hey, I can afford that. I can come." That's huge, and so that's one aspect of it. The space is another aspect of it. Everything's got to be on one floor, so you can't go double decker. And the other thing is too, we have to secure the venues like maybe 2 or 3 years in advance. A lot of cities, a lot of municipalities aren't willing to do that. They're always looking to say, well, maybe we can get something better. Baltimore is a great example. I think people would love to go back to Baltimore because when Baltimore we had two great shows. Now Baltimore may not be is an East Coast venue, obviously, but the show and the people was spectacular. We can't go back there because they won't guarantee us, a space maybe 2 years out, and that's the way it works, in terms of the members. uh, the national management, they'll go out and they'll do their due diligence and say, okay, here are like three venues to look at. But the members or the exhibitors actually vote on it. So they're the ones who vote on where to go. Now, it may be limited because we can't do it in Dallas. We can't do it in San Francisco. We can't do it in Miami because of limitations on everything I basically just told you. So it's kind of like trying to turn a aircraft carrier like you would like a small VW. You just can't do it. It's just impossible to make that turn, make that distinction. So what we'd love to have it. I mean, Chicago is perfect because we get well, and I'll throw in a third thing, and I don't know if many of you have done this, but dealing with unions, it's a hit or miss. I mean, Philadelphia is a very tough union town, um, and where they may have
in
36
Philadelphia,
yeah,
when you're
Philadelphia.
building something, and it's not, and you're building in a union building, Cage. So listen to this:
Mm-hmm.
building in a union building, and you're not using union workers.
Big rat.
These guys will bring out a blow-up inflatable rat with a group of them, and they will stand outside of your building for the entire day.
Yeah, there's a dozen of them in New York City at any given time.
What are you doing?
I worked on Major League Baseball All-Star game in Philadelphia. It was right before the show, and I got a call saying that it's potentially of shutting it down. And I said why, and they said union. So I went back in the back room, and come to find that there was 36 union members, or different union members, and it wasn't they were mad at us, they were mad at themselves. One guy had crossed
Happens
over.
to me a lot, Ray. It happens to me a
Yeah,
lot. I'm mad
and
at myself
so,
all the
but
time.
but my point being is that like in Chicago, they bend over backwards. The exhibitors get to take their car on the floor. I mean, that's
Wow.
unheard of. There's no carry-in fees. There's a lot of things that make it very special that maybe a lot of exhibitors now take for granted. But
Mhm.
but I tell you, if we went to a new venue, it's going to be totally different. So, Cleveland was the same way. Cleveland was great. Cleveland, and that may come back because I think the city has come in and purchased the property. But it's very very limited in terms of the show of this magnitude to get venues that are on check off all the boxes. It just really is. So I wish we could.